Chapter 1. Blood-Driven Taming. Don't miss out on this ancient jade tower excavated from the millennia-old tomb of the Miao region. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A middle-aged man dressed in Miao attire shouted hoarsely under the bus stop sign during rush hour, drawing only disdainful looks from passers-by. How much? Ethan, who was about to walk past, noticed that the jade tower was quite intricately crafted, and thought of his little nephew who was always asking for toys. Not expensive, just $280. It can bless you and your family with health, success at work, and everything you wish for. $5. Ethan loosened his tie and interrupted the relentless salesman. If you don't sell it, then forget it. Having just landed his first job after graduation, Ethan was practically living paycheck to paycheck. He thought about switching to $5 street food or, if necessary, just plain water with bread. After some haggling, Ethan bought the jade tower for $10 and got an $8 canvas bag as a bonus. He left with a contented smile, while the vendor, grumbling, was forced to sell it at a loss. The bus at rush hour was packed to the brim. People were pressed tightly together, and women, no matter how prim and proper, had to squeeze in with sweaty, variously sized men just to get home. In front of Ethan was a woman in a black suit. She wore light makeup with finely shaped eyebrows, and from Ethan's perspective, he could see a hint of cleavage. The heat of the day made everyone dress scantily, and the bus was a sea of flesh against flesh. Suddenly, Ethan felt the jade tower in his hand radiating warmth. Coincidentally, the tower's tip was pressing directly against the woman's buttocks. Ethan, oblivious to the woman's discomfort, was soon to realize the situation. As the bus jolted, the woman felt a persistent, heating object pressing against her. It seemed to follow her movements and grow hotter. Her discomfort turned to alarm as she realized what was happening. With the bus moving, she found it increasingly impossible to avoid the heated object pressing into her. What if it leaks? She thought anxiously, fearing that the situation might ruin her outfit. Her anger and embarrassment grew as she tried to hide her discomfort, unable to escape the situation. Suddenly, Ethan, noticing her flushed face and frequent glances back at him, mistakenly thought she was having trouble with the crowded bus. "Miss, are you all right? If you're uncomfortable, come to the back and I'll stand in front." "Come to the front?" The woman nearly fainted. The man seemed polite but was shamelessly suggesting he move forward, adding to her humiliation. The bus took a sharp turn, causing the vehicle to tilt, and with the inertia, the object behind her felt even more invasive. Her irritation reached a breaking point. "You perverted, despicable, shameless scoundrel!" she finally screamed. Her outburst caught the attention of everyone around, including the driver, who almost crashed into a red light jumper. Seeing the woman's mortified expression and the jade tower now held high, the crowd erupted in laughter. Ethan, realizing the misunderstanding, was embarrassed. He only wanted to buy a toy, but ended up in a comical situation. At home, Ethan placed the jade tower on his old desk, intrigued by its craftsmanship. The tower was pitch black, about the size of chopsticks, covered in intricate patterns of priests, frenzied Miao natives, and fierce beasts, including several detailed five-clawed dragons. He noticed traces of blood on the tip of the tower, and recalled the embarrassing incident with the woman. As he examined the tower more closely, he discovered its extraordinary hardness. When he accidentally cut himself while scraping it, the jade tower emitted a blinding light and began to absorb his blood, forming a powerful vortex. As the vortex enveloped him, Ethan experienced excruciating pain and loss of consciousness. His landlord, passing by, saw the vortex devouring Ethan and fell onto the dusty corridor in shock. In a daze, Ethan dreamed of an ancient priest wandering a primordial forest with a peculiar tower-shaped mark on his forehead. Initially, the priest tamed fierce beasts by dripping blood on their heads. Later, the priest used hand gestures to control them from a distance, and eventually commanded nature like a legendary deity. Waking up, Ethan found himself in a vast, unfamiliar forest. The enormous trees and clear stream suggested he was far from home, not in any park or hillside behind his rental. Examining his surroundings and discovering a tower-shaped mark on his forehead, resembling the jade tower he had bought, Ethan realized he had been transported to a strange place. The mark was almost identical to the one on the jade tower, only much smaller. Confused and intrigued, Ethan approached the stream to wash his face, and noticed a group of mutated giant yellow hornets attacking a massive beast. The beast's pain and struggle were horrific, and Ethan feared for his own safety. In a desperate attempt to avoid the hornets, Ethan recalled the priest's actions in his dream. He bit his finger and pressed the blood onto one of the attacking hornets. To his amazement, the hornet stopped and obeyed, while Ethan felt drained but gained a new memory about a mysterious ritual. He saw a towering spire and an inscription about ancient magic involving blood to control beasts, revealing that he had inadvertently become a novice blood shaman with the potential to grow in power and control. This marked the beginning of Ethan's journey into the world of mystical shamanism, where he would have to navigate and harness his newfound abilities.